My name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga-Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, developing states target climate-resilient health systems. Rapist mom convicted by court. And dengue death toll stands at 9 for 2017.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
All small island developing states will have health systems that are resilient to climate change by 2030. This is part of a special initiative launched by the COP presidency and aimed at protecting the people living in small island developing states from the health impacts of climate change. Eleanor Terangaivu reports.
For a long time, many people didn't see health as something that needed to be treated specifically in climate negotiations. Now, climate has an increasingly serious effect on the health of our people and creating some serious challenges for health systems and infrastructure.
I'm pleased to see that in the COP negotiations, health is now getting the priority it deserves, because the evidence from the medical and public health community has been building for many years. This particular initiative was discussed between me and the Director General in my office many months ago, and I'm glad that it has come up to COP23.
The implementation of this special initiative will require financing, and according to the COP23 president, this is a massive undertaking for developing countries, especially small island developing states and least developed countries.
So improving health delivery, fortifying existing infrastructure, and extending resilient infrastructure to vulnerable communities are urgent tasks.
The implementation of this special initiative will require financing, and according to the COP23 president, this is a massive undertaking for developing countries.
Unfortunately, only a small fraction of international finance for climate change adaptation is for projects that aim specifically to protect human health. And least developed countries and small island developing states will see only a small fraction of that. That is why the initiative we are launching today is
The initiative has four main goals, which are to amplify the voices of health leaders in small island developing states, to gather the evidence to support the business case for investment in climate change and health, promote policies that improve preparedness and prevention, and to triple the levels of international financial support to climate and health in small island developing states. Eleanor Terangaivu, FBC News.
Prime Minister and COP23 President Vorenge Bainimarama says deliberations have progressed well in the first week of talks at the Global Climate Meeting. Among the key highlights of the first week is the finalization of the Gender Action Plan, which recognizes the role of women in climate action, and progress on the guidelines for the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Maggie Boyle reports.
Maybe let me find out.
It's been a historic week with Fiji and Germany partnering to pull off COP23 in Bonn, and there's more milestones being marked as the meeting heads into its final week.
The action plan has been finalized by the parties. This recognizes the role of women in climate action. We are also very pleased with the progress being made with the Talanoa Facilitative Dialogue.
For negotiators, the final touches are days away.
To see the presidency working very closely with the subsidiary body chairs to ensure that there is significant progress at COP23 to allow negotiations to proceed next year, because of course the deadline for the implementation guidelines is at COP24 in 2018.
And in line with the many firsts, non-state actors have made an indelible mark on these talks.
To see the role that the non-party stakeholders are undertaking in terms of their contribution towards the reduction in global warming.
Strong collaboration has also been recognized as a resounding strength.
I would underline this because I really think it's a model of cooperation that is likely to bear very positive fruit.
COP23 will conclude this Friday. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Following his first official press conference to summarize week one of talks at COP23, Prime Minister and COP23 President Vurenge Bainimarama and his team faced a slew of questions in relation to the progress of talks and the challenges ahead. Maggie Boyle compiled this report from the question and answer session.
While the COP23 president revealed clear progress after week one, there remains a number of challenges to be worked through.
And one thing also where you still see obstacles.
Of course, we need to continue to work on the Paris Agreement implementation guidelines.
DCs, G70 plus China, the IOCs are expressing their concern about the finance of the adaptation and loss and damage.
As you know, the government of Germany gave or provided 50 million euros on the first day.
Insurance that will allow people that are not able to access now insurance to get also that possibilities.
Do you think that coal has a part to play in the solutions to climate change?
We all know what coal does, and we all know the effects of coal mining.
Do you think the Talanoa concept is a great mechanism for this challenging dialogues we have in front of us?
And of course, the Talanoa puts in the front line the non-state actors. And it comes with the Fijian Bulla spirit. And of course, at the end of the day, we will have a design which we will put out on Friday.
195 countries are represented at COP23 with more than 20,000 delegates in attendance. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
In a first-of-its-kind case for Fiji, a 45-year-old mother has been convicted of raping her own daughter. High Court Judge Justice Alesi Temo concurred with the opinion of the two assessors in finding the woman guilty of rape and sexual assault. Pranita Prakash reports.
The High Court judge found the 14-year-old victim's evidence credible, who had relayed in court how she was raped and sexually assaulted by her own mother between January and July last year. The judge also said that rape of children must stop. He says when parents come to court for their alleged involvement in sexual offences, they must not expect mercy. In the sentencing submission, the prosecution has asked for a 13-year sentence on the grounds that the nature of the offence is serious and that this is the first kind of its case in Fiji. The prosecution also stated that the age gap between the accused and the victim is 31 years. On the other hand, the defence has asked the court for a lower tariff on the grounds that their client is a single mother whose youngest child is 10 years old. The child is in the custody of the Social Welfare Department. The defence also stated the woman has spent 1 year and 4 months in remand. She will be sentenced tomorrow. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
9 people have died from dengue fever so far this year and over 2,600 cases have been recorded. National Advisor for Communicable Diseases Alicia Khan says there is now an increased risk of mosquito-borne diseases due to the current rainy weather conditions. Kelly Vadala reports.
The Ministry of Health has seen an increase of dengue fever cases this year compared to last year, and now they're taking extra preventative measures to ensure Fijians keep safe.
The majority of these deaths were in people over the age of 55 years, and the WHO actually says that for dengue fever, if you have access to good medical care, the number of deaths in an outbreak should be below 1%. The current rate with 9 confirmed cases is at about 0.3%.
The ministry says mosquito-borne diseases include dengue fever and chikungunya, which can prove fatal.
That is the reason for this urgency in terms of cleanup during this period. This is the period that we expect any outbreaks to occur during the beginning of the wet season and during any dry spells.
Chief Health Inspector Deep Chan says they will soon work with all municipal councils to ensure communities are kept clean.
Mosquitoes are mostly breeding around us where human activities. But we still need to see why these patterns, whether it has been changed, whether they have moved around a little bit, the distance have moved apart from our houses.
The Ministry of Health believes climate change is closely linked with dengue. This is because they're seeing an unexpected increase of dengue cases at around this time, so they're urging Fijians to clean up mosquito breeding places. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Still to come, 5 die from using banned diving methods. And Western Union robbery suspects remanded. Stay with us.
Number 2 na serve. We adora subuli kurna bili. Iborani bat sekarang hambara binaranga. Total takinan na warrongan ng Bula FM. Number 2 na serve. Bula!
Bula FM.
The Ministry of Fisheries has recorded 5 deaths so far this year due to the use of underwater breathing apparatus. Fisheries Director Isake Mbatimbasanga says despite publication of the UBA ban, fishermen continue to use the dangerous equipment. Saniani Boiler reports.
The Ministry of Fisheries is working to hunt down fishermen who continue to use underwater breathing devices.
In some areas, in some islands, they're still harvesting. And that is unfortunate, but we will follow through and we'll even take everything to the company.
Mbatimbasanga said, according to research by the Secretariat of the South Pacific Community, thousands of dollars are being spent by government to help those harmed, even crippled by the use of illegal UBA equipment.
The government is using at least on average 515,000 Fijian dollars to take care of the treatment of those bans or the fatalities.
Silver Star Company business advisor Malakai Tuilonga says with the ban of UBA and the export of beach dimmer, they have looked for other alternatives.
I'm just encouraging people from the villages, like me and my company. We have lost that because we were involved in the buying of beach dimmer. Now we have diversified.
Those caught using UBA can be fined more than $20,000 and can face 6 to 12 months imprisonment. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
An investigation has been launched into the mysterious death of a Fijian woman found dead in her family home in Manurewa, South Auckland yesterday. The New Zealand police are treating the death of 24-year-old Arishma Singh as a homicide. A post-mortem examination was conducted this morning, revealing obvious injuries to Singh's body. Police are in the process of collecting CCTV footage from the area. Investigators will also be looking into any family harm or domestic violence Singh may have had. Police believe Singh knew her killer.
I don't believe that this is a random attack, and I'm basing that on the fact that there is no sign of forced entry to the address. The interior of the address has not been disturbed in any way.
Two men alleged to have stolen a total of $113,000 and assorted items from a complex in Raiwanga appeared in the magistrate's court this afternoon. The incident happened on 15th September. Pranita Prakash has more.
26-year-old Taifu Singh Ngoli and 45-year-old Tuapa Tovatova have each been charged with 1 count of aggravated robbery. It is alleged that the two stole money and assorted items from 2 employees at the Western Union branch at Damodar Shopping Complex. The court heard that only $2,000 of the $113,000 has been recovered. The court also heard that Ngoli has breached a suspended sentence handed to him last year. Ngoli and Tovatova have been remanded in custody and the matter has been transferred to the High Court. The case will be called on 24th November. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Protecting forests at any scale requires capital and a significant expenditure like any green infrastructure project. This was highlighted by Minister responsible for climate change Ayo Said Qayyum while speaking at the Collaborative Action in Forests to Address Climate Change and Promote Sustainable Development in Bonn, Germany. Said Qayyum says there is a need for innovative finance mechanisms to protect all kinds of forests, including land-based forests, mangroves and seagrasses. While many governments have implemented measures to protect forests and establish protected areas, this isn't sufficient to avoid the destruction. He adds there are no well-established markets of forest carbon that provide, despite being critical to our very survival.
Fiji looks forward to receiving a report from this session, which will contribute to our discussions and negotiations over the coming week, and we ask you, in particular, to give real thought to the needs of small island states in protecting our forests and blue carbon ecosystems.
Ahead in sports with Jamie Gareth Faber impressed with new players, but up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Fiji can cater for increased visitor arrivals, says stakeholders. And in growing Fiji, Waisali village welcomes road repairs. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरेकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
In business tonight, visitor arrivals to the Pacific Islands have grown drastically over the last decade, and tourism stakeholders believe Fiji and the Pacific still have the capacity to cater for the demands. Looking at market shares, Fiji has maintained its supremacy as the leading tourism destination. Around 1.6 million visitors came to Fiji in 2011, and this number grew by 2 million last year. The tourism stakeholders have labelled this a sustainable growth.
So it's growing about 3 to 4%. And I think it's a blessing in some way because it's in a sustainable growth. We haven't reached the stage of mass tourism that we have closed our doors.
The Pacific Island states, particularly Fiji, has been able to cater for tourists due to its targeted market.
We also have to be very careful in who we select as our tourists. In terms of, and that's why for the rest of the Pacific it's also probably very easy. It's much more safe for us to look at niche tourism because we can't compete in mass tourism like what's happening in Hawaii, in Indonesia.
The Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association says we can cater for more.
During the peaks, many of the hotels are quite full, but there are other hotels available. And also in the weaker months, I mean, those are the months that you really need to pay attention to. And that's why I think with the hotels and the plant and the national carrier and Tourism Fiji is doing is we need to fill the weaker months of the year.
SPTO highlighted apart from Fiji, the Cook Islands is also roping in big visitor arrivals. And we now join SHORAN from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
Thank you. Let's look at the South Pacific Stock Exchange market review for last week. Generally, the SPSCE trading platform witnessed a hype in activity. Several share price gains and an increase in volume were noted. A total of $794,303 worth of new orders were recorded. Buy orders ranking highest at 54.74%. The 5 securities traded were Amalgamated Telecom Holdings, Freebird Institute, FMF Foods Limited, Vision Investments, Fijian Holdings Limited, and Kinetic Growth Fund Limited. ATH, FMF, and Vision Investments recorded share price increases. This resulted in the overall market capitalization increasing by 0.84% or 14.4 million. The week concluded at a value of 1.73 billion. And that's the wrap from our local stock market.
Thanks, Sharon. Looking at today's current exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fijian dollar was slightly down against the Chinese yuan, American dollar, PNG kina, and the euro. However, it rose against the Australian, New Zealand, and Japanese yen, 3 of our major trading partners. As for the commodities market, oil prices were down a few cents to close at $56.91 a barrel. Gold fell by almost $12 to close at $1,274, and silver closed at $16.89 an ounce. And in Green Fiji tonight, the Waisali villagers have welcome work underway at the Transinsular Road that runs by their village located outside the Savusavu town. Fulton Hogan Highways is currently stabilizing and overlaying the road while grading it to a positive crossfall to rid water from its surface. A 30-year-old Yangon farmer says in the past, taxi and truck drivers would refuse to take them to town due to the bad road conditions. Almost 1,000 villages and farmers living along Waisali Stretch supply Yangon and vegetables to the Savu-Savu and Lambasa markets. And that's a wrap from Business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, Kiwi and Yato to boost flying Fijians camp.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
After a disappointing weekend, the Kiwis are being more prudent with preparations ahead of its match against the Fiji Mbati. It's not the quarterfinal match they had envisioned at the start of the World Cup, but they now have a week to prepare for it. Vasnil Prasad reports. The group stages of the Rugby League World Cup is done and dusted, with 8 nations progressing into the knockout phase of the tournament. Defending champions Australia plays Samoa on Friday. The Vodafone Fiji Mbati will take on New Zealand 7:20 p.m. Saturday in Wellington. Tonga faces Lebanon on the same day, while Papua New Guinea plays England on Sunday. Meanwhile, England put on a strong display last night, beating France 32 points to 6 in its last pool match. The side ran in 7 tries to book its quarterfinal spot against PNG. And Papua New Guinea was too strong for the USA with a commanding 64-0 win in front of their home crowd in Port Moresby. The Comores posted their highest ever World Cup total, registering points for every minute in the opening half. Barring any more disruptions, Flying Fijians coach John McKee hopes to have Clermont-based Pedeli Yato in his squad for the test match against Ireland next Sunday. The match against the Irish will be one of its toughest of the season, and McKee hopes to have his best players at his disposal. Vasnil Prasad reports.
Wasn't with us this week because he had some issues around his visa, but I'm hoping that's all sorted out. He can join us next week in Ireland. Individually, some players played quite well, but we lacked the real team cohesion at times, and that probably cost us that we weren't able to build pressure against Italy.
Fiji Airways Fiji Sevens captain Jerry Tuwai believes the Oceania tournament win is just the confidence booster his new teammates needed ahead of the first leg of the World Series. However, he does acknowledge the team requires some improvements before the Dubai Sevens. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
The win against New Zealand last week was a game changer for the new players.
We have a lot of new boys, and a win would boost their morale in their preparation for the first leg of World Series.
With the HSBC season just around the corner, the side will handle every competition as a learning platform.
As I said, we're still developing this team. For the past 2 tournaments, we lost both of the tournament, but yeah, we learn every day, and we're still learning.
Coach Gareth Baber has noticed a unique bond that makes Fiji different from the rest of the teams.
Well, the experienced ones create that. That's what's the best thing. It's all down to them as players. You know, I often speak to them about what blows me away of being in Fiji is the sense of community, sense of family, and they create that as a leadership group and as a group generally.
The Fiji Sevens team will prepare for another 2 weeks before they fly out to Dubai for the first leg of the 2017 and 2018 HSB series. The tournament will be held on the 1st and the 2nd of next month. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports tonight. Join Angie later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and wonderful, Zurich engineers have created a 4-legged robot that could one day do hazardous work in place of humans. That's coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची FM सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची FM is #1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची FM सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची FM is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची FM सुनते हैं। मिर्ची FM is hot. I love मिर्ची FM.
हमें इस दिन तो पता हुआ कि मिर्ची FM में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
If you're one of those who loves hot beverages, you don't have to worry now about it cooling off while you're busy working at your desk. The temperature-controlled ceramic mug keeps hot liquids hot, and you can set the precise temperature with your phone. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's Monday and it wasn't that sunshiny. Instead, we had showers with thunderstorms. A low pressure system is moving over us, so we can expect more showers coming our way. Looking at the west, it was mostly cloudy with limited sunshine. Eastwards from Pekhaba to Suva, bit warm, but rain cooled it off with scary thunderstorms. And up north, clouds and sun were around. At sea, southeast to northeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 4:08 with low tide at 9:59. See the beauty of sunrise at 6:22. For tomorrow, it looks like more rain, so take precautions rather wherever you go, and don't forget your umbrellas and raincoats. Tomorrow's temps will be the hottest with highs of 32 degrees. And looking further on to Wednesday, the rainy conditions are more likely to ease, but not completely. We're still in for 40% chances of showers. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, do you think there should be more awareness on road safety?
Yes, they should be more aware of the road safety because most of the drivers are young, getting driving license, and there's more road accidents on school students.
Yes, I think there should be more awareness done for the road safety because plenty accidents are happening, and compared to previous years, we have seen that the road accidents have increased.
Especially in town, they don't know where to cross. There should be more awareness and safety tips in school.
Yes, they should, since like for both road users, there's the drivers and the pedestrians. Since drivers, they just drive anyhow, most of them they don't have courtesy, and like using those signals, road rules and regulations, and pedestrians, they should be aware when they're crossing roads, not jaywalking.
This is the capital of Fiji, Suva. They should know better, the police, to do something about speed limit.
Yes, there should be. Just because there's plenty of accidents on the road, so people need to be aware.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, prepare to be amazed and possibly terrified. Engineers in Zurich have created a four-legged robot that may one day do labor that is dangerous for humans. It's also equipped with thermal cameras, which means the animal may one day keep an eye on you. Recapping the main stories, developing states target climate-resilient health systems, rapist mom convicted by court, and dengue death toll stands at 9 for 2017. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, the results from last week, we had asked, should the Pacific Islands have a team in the National Rugby League competition in Australia? 77% said yes. This week we are asking, is Jerry Thawai ready to lead the Fiji Sevens team? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day. This beautiful picture was captured by Adrian Prasad at Maui Bay in Singatoka. Now we'd like to encourage all our viewers to send in more pictures of our beautiful Fiji, whether it's our tropical flowers, our stunning waterfalls, maybe a visiting cruise ship, or even your favorite pet. Just send them through to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, good night.
toka. Keron do talita kana barorong na radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kombinasyon buti ko lang do talita kana radio Fiji 1 kina domoy viti.
Ayaw ko ado silil tale. Namurara may nawamanyi nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasawale na rongo. Barong na radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti na bonga ni BNN.